scattering to look good, both from the ground and from space, turned out to be surprisingly tricky. One really nice side effect of the system, though, is that by tweaking the scattering constants, you can completely change the color of the atmosphere, which I'm sure